So come on in. Sound check done. Let's begin. Breaking news. The guess is you. Streaming live for you to view. Open House the podcast. Open House the podcast. Oh. Open House the podcast. Open House the podcast. The door is open, so come on in. Sound check done. Let's begin. Breaking news. The guess is you. Streaming live for you to view. Open House the podcast. Open House the podcast. Oh.
Or as we like to call it, we're confused. Oh boy, this has been a lot of fun. I got to remove you from the scene because you are currently there. And there we are. Hello, everybody. Welcome. It is Open House the podcast. I am Johnny Awesome. With me, as always, she definitely is something, Summer something. We have no idea what's going on this morning. You know what's crazy? I think we hit that hump where we have nearly been doing this a year now.
I know.
And today it's like we don't know what we're doing.
Welcome to Open House Podcast, where we are confused.
We are confused.
That was funny.
That was good. But as long as everybody can hear us, everything's good. But,
Yeah,
you know,
we're
I
good.
want to just in fact, will you do me a favor?
Uh-huh.
You actually were right on this.
What?
If you hit that button, does it stay or no?
The darkness?
Yes.
Yes.
It does stay? Make it dark in here for a second. I liked how you're going. And you've heard this before, but other people, oh, there we go. Now, spotlight. All right. A businessman is sitting on a train. Oh, I should have known you're going to giggle through this. In my head, I was going to get really serious, and I forgot. You giggled through the serious stuff.
Okay, I'll stop.
All right. So, I've never.
Well, you can't laugh either. Then.
You're holding your breath. You can breathe. Breathe through it. Breathe through it.
Okay.
All right.
Restart.
Think happy thoughts. Okay. So a businessman is sitting on a train. Across from him, Man, I really wanted to start with the story. Hang on, I'm gonna have to just.
Hit
I'm just
reset in
gonna
your
turn
brain.
around. All right.
You can't look at me.
So a businessman. I wanted this for the cut, and it's not gonna work now.
It might.
I'll have to re-edit this where it's all serious.
Yeah.
So the point is the businessman's wife's dead. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
And his kids are crazy. All right. That's the whole point of the story. And it was it was all about perspective, but we threw that right out the window.
Yeah.
Oh
That's
man.
okay.
So you remember me telling this story?
I do.
Okay. But I wanted to get the clip of it.
Get it.
But now I'm going to start in a different place then.
Okay.
Have I ever told you about this? My favorite joke of all time, what's worse than ants on your legs?
You have.
Yeah, do you remember?
But I can't remember.
It was uncles. That was that. So I should have started with the joke. But now we don't need the serious lighting anymore.
Do we need the light on?
I would probably turn the light back on. Oh, wow. That gets bright fast. So have you ever heard the term ants? Did I ever tell you about this? Did we ever have this discussion?
Ants, yeah.
Yeah.
No, sorry, I didn't get the joke at first. I'm like, uncles. Okay.
Yeah, not ants like AUNTS. Ants like ANTS. Did I ever coach you guys on that stuff? Do you ever remember this? So ants are a really interesting thing. We're going to do this backwards. Ants stands for automatic negative thoughts, okay? And it's interesting because right now, it's really easy in this business and in any business really with entrepreneurs. Like I've been watching a lot of entrepreneurs. I think one of the best things that anybody should watch is they should go back and watch season 2 of Undercover Billionaire. Have you ever seen this?
It sounds familiar.
So they have three billionaires on the show.
Oh yeah.
They give them $100 in a beat up truck or car. They drop them off in the middle of nowhere. Nobody knows this place. And they give them the goal to build $1 million business in 90 days. They can't use their name and they can't use their money and contacts. And they have to figure out how to do it with this $100 bill. Grant Cardone was on the show on season 2. And then there was 2 other people. Grant Cardone, who's, the 10X guy, his big thing was, I can't go for $1 million. Everybody else focuses on the million. They get in. This one girl was like, I'm going to start a juice company and sell it to kids out of an ice cream truck. And the other lady, she came up with a cool businessy idea too. She turned a old inn into like a hotel / market / coffee house / gathering place.
That's cool.
But Grant Cardone was the one that went in and he said, I'm a 10X guy, so I'm not satisfied with going for $1 million goal. I want to go for a $10 million goal in 90 days. Now, the thing that I really loved about the show.
Sorry. My feet weren't touching the ground. It was bothering.
You said that you felt like you look so short right now. Do I like, you said you felt short anyway. Why did you, I have to adjust there? There, I guess that's better.
Can your feet touch the ground?
Oh, my feet are plenty touching the ground. In fact, now my feet are halfway up my chest.
Okay.
All right.
Well, as long as you're comfortable.
I'm not, but I think it looks aesthetically better. So anyway, Grant Cardone is you've seen the 10X stuff, and I'm sure you've heard Grant Cardone, and maybe through maybe back when you were with EXP. I don't know if you saw it on stage or did you go or see it?
I think that I seen him on stage. I can't really remember, but I feel like I did at one of those EXP events.
Yeah,
because there was so many of them.
Grant is a very out there, very loud, he is one of the highest D's of high D's. If you remember, we had who had slipped to 3rd, but it was okay. He wasn't first though.
Yeah.
His 10X coach, Gary Miku, on. And, it's interesting because me and Gary go back and forth on this all the time because Grant is so aggressive. His other coaches have taken a back seat. But it's interesting watching somebody like this. The dude struggled for like the first 83 days. He didn't make sales goals. He didn't make, he was trying to, this is a guy that runs a $1 billion coaching company called the 10X. He is known for taking people's businesses and multiplying it by 10X. And the dude couldn't close a sale to save his life. And it's interesting watching because you know that emotional cycle of an entrepreneur, right? That I have shown you guys before. He hits this and they document this, and it's so real because he's at one point in time he's got tears in his eyes and he goes, man, it's hard enough when you've got money. I can't imagine how people are living like this who don't have any money.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I was blown away because there's parts of it where he's like, I'm just going to give up. He tells the camera crew to leave. He can't make a sale. Nobody takes his calls. Nobody knows who he is. And he just doesn't want to do this anymore. He's super, super frustrated. He's in that valley of despair, right? Mm-hmm. And it's really crazy because then what happens is after like day 83, out of all these businesses, he tried starting this real estate. They got away from him. He was trying to prospect for people that would invest in this business. They got away from him. All of a sudden, it started to work on day 83. Like he was super far behind. And then all of a sudden, that fire was lit and they started taking in client after client after client. And then by the time it was done, he gets a $7 million evaluation on this business, which is insane. And what originally started as him trying to do a real estate play ended up for him turning into a marketing company with a guy that owns a Snap Fitness, and they partnered together, and it was the whole thing. And it's such a great thing to watch because that's what happens. And he hit these ants too. Because when we are in sales sometimes, and I'll tell you, this last couple weeks, man, I felt this too. And I called Chad and I told Chad, I said, it's crazy because, you know, I've been making the calls, but just like I coach people, I haven't made 1,000 yet. I can't complain until I've made 1,000.
Yeah.
Really, if you've tried and you started, like I've been going through lists and trying to make it in, and it's been really difficult. My schedule is super tight, but I haven't made the 1,000th call yet. Mm-hmm. But just because I haven't made the 1,000th call doesn't mean that I'm not feeling like, dude, am I just wasting my time every single day when I'm jumping on the phones just calling these random people? And it's interesting because in our business, and actually Grant proves this, I think in any business, especially entrepreneurial, this is where it's one of those things where if you just keep going, it's going to work. You just got to keep going through it.
Yeah.
You just got to keep hitting your head up against the wall. One of my favorite stories of all time, and it relates a lot to this, is the story of the water hyacinth. Do you remember me teaching you this?
Yeah, I do.
It's my favorite. So I'll reiterate it for you.
Reiterate.
Yeah, I'll do that one.
Great.
Re-radiate it. The water hyacinth is possibly one of my favorite stories of all time because it is what business is. You know, when the water hyacinth first starts to grow in a pond, you have a 100-acre pond, you don't even see it. By day 15, it's just a little speck over in the corner somewhere that somebody might think is just a piece of algae growing. By day 20, it looks like maybe a small raft over in the corner just floating. By day 25, it takes over like half of the pond. And then by day 30, the entire pond is now covered with the stuff. And that's kind of how, that is not kind of how, unless you got really lucky, that's exactly how business works. It's over and over and over and over and over again, and then success happens. Now, do some people find it super early or they get something handed to them? Yeah. But then where's the success after that?
Right.
And that's where, like, if you're down or if you've been, you know, that's where I just rewatched that stuff with Grant because it really does help center you when you're having what's known as an automatic negative thought. So here's what ants are. When you say to yourself, this is never going to work, right? Mm-hmm. The other thing that catches people a lot is when they say stuff along the lines of, this always happens to
me.
Yeah. Or you've heard these before, right?
So aren't those also called like definite phrases?
They are. Yeah. Yeah. And that's exactly what ants are. They're an automatic negative. So they're a definite phrase that's followed up after another thought that you might have. Mm-hmm. For instance, you're about ready to pick up the phones to go prospecting and you're optimistic about it. And then the first guy blows you off. And the first thing you think of, this is never going to work. This always happens. a million people have already called this guy, the whole list is dead.
Yeah.
That's an automatic negative thought. So it's a chain reaction that happens. So instead of going to the positive side, our brains are naturally designed to instantly like go to even the most positive people. We have these all the time. The difference is whether or not you stop yourself. Have you ever caught yourself doing something like that?
Yeah, definitely. Like in different aspects of life, like like going back to younger times a little bit even, because that's when I learned about like definite phrases and stuff. So I was kind of like aware of that when I was like a teenager.
Really?
Yeah, like an older teenager, but it was something that I don't know.
Yeah, like
16,
14.
Well, yeah, I don't know, but like 16, 17, I became like extremely.
I just realized we both have pens, but we're writing nothing. Why do we both have pens? We're writing nothing. Cool. Yeah, keep going. I feel so official.
So
Yeah.
yeah. I became aware of it. So now it's not like I don't ever do it, but when I do, and if I find myself like being overly joyful can be a definite phrase. Like you can't like commit everything to one positive or everything to one negative, you know?
Where did you learn as a teenager about this? That's like advanced mental learning.
It was with therapy.
I didn't.
Like
That's cool.
Yeah.
I should have been in therapy super early. I was in therapy once as a kid. Yeah. I don't know what happened. I don't remember why. I always liked therapists. I think she was like, I'm not able to help you here. I don't know. I think that you definitely need to find a therapist that works for you. Would you like a Kleenex? Can we just take a moment?
Yeah.
This just reminds me to take a moment so I can just put this out there. But for crap's sakes, Canada, can you please get your fires under control? We can't breathe over here. I wake up in the morning, I'm like, my eyes are all itchy. My dog is sneezing. Princess Angel is having allergy attacks because she has to go outside to poop.
Yeah.
She's not big enough to get up on the adult toilet.
Is it even worse today?
I'm not sure. It was. I know yesterday they said
it's been bad.
I know yesterday the news reported that we had the worst air quality in Detroit in the nation. So
we're at 107.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. We've never even had to look at this stuff before. Come on, Canada.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
Like get your act together. I don't know how we have all this. Here's the thing. She's showing me a picture. What is that?
So that's like our air quality.
Oh, look, it's horrible.
It is. It's pretty bad.
I don't even care if it's annoying. I'm going to do a whole episode coughing and just send it to Canada. That is crazy. It's similar to yesterday. Yeah. How do you health information? Oh, so here's what's in here, in case you're wondering. Carbon monoxide, nitrogen dioxide, nitrogen monoxide, nitrogen oxides. Dude, there's a lot of nitro happening here. Ozone. And then other things under I'm not scientific enough to even read. What in the world have you ever seen? Look at that 10. What is that lettering next to the 10? But what have you do you see where it says 10?
Ozone.
No, yeah, look underneath ozone.
Oh,
yeah.
Particulate.
Yeah, now read the number.
10
Yeah, but that's not a U.
No, it's a math term, dude.
It is a math term.
It's some like scientist term.
Yeah. So scientists can figure out how to measure this stuff. They can't figure out how to make a fan big enough to blow this stuff back.
But that specifically, those particles are small enough. It's called PM 2.5. Particles are small enough to enter the bloodstream and typically result from wildfires, smokestacks, bacteria. Enter the bloodstream.
Whoa. Dude, I've got
Game
Canada.
changer.
I have Canada smoke in my blood right now. That is not cool. That should be addressed and handled, right? This is an objection handler right here, right? Like, hey, ring, who's there? Canada, fix your fires. I can't.
real.
That's not an option. I
yeah,
currently have your smoke in my blood.
A lot of people have been experiencing it too.
It's it's funny. I was talking to this couple from Arizona the other day, and she was so proud to say, "Oh, it's smoke. It's just like the smoke," because that's how Arizonans talk, by the way. If you didn't know,
Okay.
they have an accent. She goes, "Oh, it's like the smoke in Arizona. Now you know how it's like in Arizona." And then the report came out like an hour after I talked to her, and it's like, "You're worse than Arizona." And I'm like, "Take that," but we don't want to be. We don't want to be. That's why we live here in the Great Lakes State.
Yeah, that's not fair.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, therapy is a good thing. But you're right. It's and whoever taught you that is great. The thing about most people, when I coach agents, I can't tell you how many times I've heard somebody and they don't even realize what they're saying. Like they don't realize that they have that automated negative thought. So you give them a directive, right? Hey, I need you to reach out to 10 people today. Yeah, I'd love to be able to do that, but nobody's going to answer anyway. Well, that's really interesting. So you have a negative that's going to occur, and you don't even know if that's true. Actually, you guys remember the first time I came in to your old office, and nobody wanted to make phone calls? And who did I make a call as you, or did I make a call as
I remember
Kayla?
I was the first one.
Was it you?
Everybody was scared.
And
was like,
I got on the phone and said I was Summer, didn't I?
no, you said I'm Kayla.
Oh, so it was Kayla. Yeah.
But I think I made the first phone call on my own.
Yeah.
And all you guys were watching. I was like,
Yeah. You see,
I was like, just rip the Band-Aid off. Nobody else
and
wants
that's
to do
what it
it.
is.
He's here to train us. Like, I wasn't trying to waste your time, truthfully.
That's what it is. It's it's when I sat down with you guys as a group, and I was like, "Are you guys ready?" And everybody froze. And there's that. In that moment is when you have the opportunity to get control of your own thought. And most people, and Gary Keller, in his books, he always called it the drunk monkey. As soon as you think that you can go out and do something, you got this guy on your shoulder. No, you can't. Blah. I used to have a guy that another guy that I used to follow used to call it Obstacles. I have a little bobblehead of him, and he was just this guy that would sit on your shoulder and be like, "You can't do it. You suck." Nah. But those are automatic negative thoughts. Ants. As soon as you think that you're going to do something, and your brain instantly brings this up. So the question is, how do we defeat them so that we can continue to go forward? And there's two answers to this, and one of them is a sucky thing. Can I just be honest?
Yeah.
Last week I was sitting at a picnic table yesterday or the day before making cold calls. I'm good at them. I can make a script for anything, but I hate it just like the rest of everybody else. And I think I hate it for different reasons. Like me, I want every single person to get on the phone, and I want objections. Like I want crazy stuff. I want a conversation with the angry guy so I can do jujitsu. Like I'm different, but everybody else hates it because they're afraid of rejection and stuff like that. I still get that way. Like, well, what if they say no? Like you still have those too. But for the most part, like I hate the bling bling bling. This number is unavailable. And I'm like, oh,
so annoying.
And then hi, thank you for calling the Google Voice subscriber that you're calling right now has a voice message that hasn't been set up yet.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, nobody's going to answer. And I catch myself doing this. And then you got to force yourself through. Every single day I've made a call so far, I've sent somebody into financing. Like it's just I pull somebody out of a list typically within my first 15 minutes. But then you get this bell curve where you're like, okay, cool. Now you're talking to all these people, and then all of a sudden it slows down, and then it's weird. It's just weird how psychology works, right?
Yeah.
So when you have that happen, my favorite way is there's two ways to stop it. And like I said, the one way really sucks. All of that stuff, including fear, all of that ends when you just take action. If you're saying, oh, I don't want to do this because of this, here's one for you. Maybe you don't want to put a video up because you're afraid that I don't know,
My peers are gonna.
Your peers?
My peers are gonna
look at
make
your
fun of
watch
me or something.
What's that? Yes.
Sorry, I have people trying to get a hold of me. I'm like busy.
Yeah. But you just think, whatever you think, you have these thoughts that
Yeah,
come
there's
up,
a
right?
million things.
And the one thing that's going to defeat that, in fact, can I use you as an example? Is that okay? I think this is actually a really good example. 3 weeks ago, maybe 4 now, I'm really bad at time math. You sent me a message about that video that you put up of you. Remember? And you were really vulnerable during the video. And we'll show it here. Kevin, insert that. Different Kevin. Now I gotta have to use a different fake name for a
knew
guy.
who you meant.
Because
You
I've
meant
been
our
doing that
producer.
forever. Yes.
You did.
Yeah, I do.
Kevin-
Yeah, Kevin. But now I feel like,
well, he'll need a last name, maybe.
well, yeah. Anyway, well, so it was interesting because you sent me the message like, hey, I don't want to put this up, but you did, right? And that action automatically squashes ants. It's one of your big shoes that you can wear, right? Because then you put it up, and how did it turn out?
I think it turned out fine.
Yeah.
Except, remember the 3-armed lady on accident? I didn't notice
That was weird. Yeah, yeah. Summer has this video of when she met the 3-armed lady, and somehow while she was at the appointment with the lady, she didn't realize that there was just an extra arm there the whole time. I don't know how
It
you
was
didn't.
crazy.
Like
I
the fir-
rewatched it a
and you're-
million times.
Yeah, yeah.
Didn't
And
even see the third
you
arm.
didn't see that she had 3 arms. Like that's the first
I was
thing.
probably too busy like looking at myself like, do I look good?
So you didn't notice the lady with the 3
I
arms.
didn't.
Be like, I shook 2 of them.
But you know, that was me, my little like insecurities though. Like when I'm posting a video.
Imagine the 3-armed
I'm just
lady.
staring at myself that I miss a 3-armed lady.
Imagine how she feels.
She probably she's very pretty.
Yeah, yeah, with the 3rd arm. Yeah.
Third arm was odd.
Have you ever seen? And I wish I had his name, but have you ever seen the guy? And he has one finger on one hand, and he just taps everything online, and then he doesn't have an arm at all. He just has his elbow, and he just films himself doing everyday stuff.
Yeah,
Have you ever seen this guy online?
I have.
I love that
I mean,
guy.
I don't know if it's one guy. I think there's different people who do that too, like post those videos.
With just the one finger guy.
Yeah, like there's. I think
I
I
don't
don't know
know.
if we're talking about the same guy.
And now I gotta. Now
I
I'll
feel
have
like
to
I've
look.
seen different people though.
But see, I think that stuff is, I love that stuff. And I think that's amazing because you look at how many issues we don't have, and then these guys put themselves out there. There's 3 handicapped guys. One of them is in a bed. He can't even move. Have you ever seen these guys? I love these guys. All of them, and it's like they all live together like a home, and they make some of the funniest videos from
Yeah.
like, they all robbed a bank, and then they realize none of them can drive because they're all severely handicapped. Like they can't walk. One of them can't talk. He's just in a bed.
Yeah.
Like he just lays there and goes, like it's the best. I love these guys because they're putting themselves out there and they've got themselves a platform. And then us normal people that people would want to see, I'm talking to myself more than anybody, you know, we get afraid to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
But action conquers fear. That's
Agree.
how you get over it.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So you just do it. Like you said,
Yeah.
kind of just rip the
But
Band-Aid
it's so
off.
hard. Like let's talk about that for a second. I love that analogy. We throw analogies around in our vernacular all the time, but nobody really takes a second to think about what they're really saying.
Yeah.
We've lost the feeling to some of the things that we say, like, yeah, just rip the Band-Aid off. We say it now like it's so nonchalant. Have you ever had a Band-Aid really stuck to you?
It hurt.
It sucks.
But then once it's off,
It still stings.
no, but you feel a bit more relief.
Have you ever had your eyebrows threaded?
Yes.
That sucks.
It does.
It does.
It hurts, but then it goes away.
But it's like ripping the Band-Aid
Very
off.
momentary.
So when we say that stuff, like, remember going back, like when we say this, don't just say it and let it pass by, right? Like if you're going to use that as an analogy in your head, like really think about what we're saying. Back when I was a kid, I was such a wuss when it came to the Band-Aid thing that I was the guy that used to have to go in and sit in the bathtub.
Really?
Yeah.
So honestly, I used to be like a wuss about it too, but
Yeah.
I learned the less pain possible is if you literally just rip it off.
Yes. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Because-
so it's like if you're gonna post a video or something, you're panicking, you're
Yeah.
watching it over and over. Pull the Band-Aid off means just hit submit.
Because it's the same thing.
It's
You're
like
sitting
one
there
quick
and
action.
one hair at a
Just
time.
do it. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you know, you took twice as long. It hurt for twice as long.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the sting is it instead of just going through it, you know what I mean? And that is the perfect analogy to use for this.
It is.
The other thing other than action though, sometimes people can't take immediate action because they're kind of frozen in those thoughts. And I've run into a lot of people that the reason that they're called automated negative thoughts is because you're not really purposely trying to think them. We unfortunately live in a day and time where negativity sells, and it sells more than positivity does. That's why when you go to a news rack and Newsweek is sitting there, it's who had an affair on who or what giant tornado touched down, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they were like, hey, this celebrity couple's been married together forever and they're loving life, and it's a sunny, clear day in Kansas tomorrow, beautiful skies. Nobody's even looking at that stuff. But you put dangerous weather, threat of murdering millions of people on a front, and everybody's going to look at that because they're attracted to that, right? And so a lot of folks out there, they don't even realize what they're saying, and it's so automated that you catch them, and they're like, I didn't say that. Yeah, you literally did. You had a directive. You knew that you had a goal. Here's what you needed to do in order to do your goal. And then all of a sudden, you just shot out instantly why it wasn't going to work and why you weren't going to do it.
Yeah.
When that happens, the number one thing, the first thing to start doing is to actually start monitoring. Most people, it's crazy to me just because I've always been self-aware, but I've met some people that are so unself-aware, like they have no clue what's going on inside their own head. Nor do they realize, like I used to have this argument with somebody that I used to live with that that I swear she didn't realize that she had thoughts and she could control them. Like it was so weird trying to have that conversation, especially as a coach. You know, I go out and coach agents, everybody gets this stuff. Then I'd go home and I'm like, you realize you can take control of your own thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts? Yeah, like you have them. Like,
Yeah.
like you choose what you're going to sit there and focus on, and what you focus on expands.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're always thinking acidic things and you just sit in that, what do you think you're going to, here's a good example. I'll never forget one time we went into the hospital and there was just automatic negative thought of this lady's having before anybody's ever even met anybody, this lady's having a bad day. Okay. She seems grumpy. She's grumpy. How do you act towards grumpy people?
Me, I act even more nice.
You would. If you're not a negative narcissist, you would.
Turn you ungrumpy.
But if but there's a lot of people out there that want to stay away from that, right?
Yeah.
So they think that if you're going to be, and I'll just say it like this: if you're looking for racism somewhere, you're going to find it.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you're looking for, you're going to find, whether it's there or it's not. And there's so many examples of that on the internet. It's crazy. So if you think that somebody's going to give you attitude, and you've already prejudged the situation, and you've already predicted the future before it's even happened, how do you think you're going to act towards that person if you're a normal person? Right? You're going to act as if they've done the thing.
Yeah, I'm not going to want to
interact with them.
Yeah.
Now, how do you think you come off to that person? This is where we get those self-fulfilling prophecies.
Huge communication problem.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Because now you're walking up to this person as if they've already been rude to you, and then you come off as rude.
Mm-hmm.
And now the person thinks that you're rude.
So now,
you've got the whole situation.
Yep, you're both
that
just
you've created
thinking negatively now.
That's it.
Yeah, for no reason.
This all comes back to perspective. There was a man on a train. All right, I got it now. And it was a businessman on a train. And sitting across from him was another man reading a newspaper. And in between both of them were these two boys. And they were super rowdy, bumping into each other, hitting other people on the train, yelling and shouting and just being aloof. The businessman, trying to drink his coffee, noticed these kids, and he was just grumbling to himself, these kids are out of control. Why won't this guy just get these kids and get them under control? And finally, these two boys who are just pushing each other and shouting, and one of them pushed the other brother into the businessman, and he spilled coffee on himself. To which he instantly got up and started yelling, "Hey, why aren't you taking care of these kids? They're being a complete nuisance." When the man lowered the newspaper, you could see that he just had tears that were streaming from his face. And he looked at the businessman and he said, "I'm so sorry, sir. My wife, their mother, just passed. And I guess I'm having a hard time trying to figure out how to handle the situation, and so are the boys." Now, upon hearing this, of course, the businessman instantly apologized and said, "Is there anything that I can do?" And the whole situation changed. You see, perspective is a really funny thing, and it's related to ants too. When you go into a situation, or if you're automatically thinking negative thoughts going into a situation, you are sometimes self-prophesying that to happen. But if you were to understand the truth, and I think about this every day when I interact with people, and I think that's where it's great when you have the person that says, you know, if somebody's having, I grew up in a great organization of men that taught me almost everything that I know. And one of the things that they always said, and I don't know if you're going to agree with this or not, coming from a server life, by the way, congratulations again. If you guys don't know, Summer left that life. But the quote was, if they serve you good, tip good. If they serve you bad, tip better. That's the principle that I learned. Why? Because servers live on tips. So you have a server that's having a bad day, right? And then all of a sudden she doesn't give the best service. Mm-hmm. Now she's receiving crap all day long. And then what does she do? Automated negative thought spiral, right?
She goes
Everybody
in the
hates
walk-in
me.
and cries.
Right. Or behind she just sits there. And now she's not waiting on anybody.
Yeah.
But then somebody leaves her $100 tip. What does that have? What happens to her day?
Yo,
Now
I'm
here's
so happy now.
Here's the crazy part. The business guys that taught me that, the reason that you leave the tip isn't because of your service. The reason that you do that is so that the service for the next people is better. It's thinking about the next person. It's not thinking about yourself and your situation. Mm-hmm. It's putting the focus on, if I leave this, and how much better service do you think that next guy that just walked in is going to get from Grumpy Lady that got nothing all day?
Yeah.
That's what that's all about. And when it comes to perspective, it all comes down to, I had to look to make sure I had enough time. It all comes down to the fact and the story and what we tell ourselves. So the other way, one of my favorite questions going back to ants, one of the things, action, and the other thing is, how does this thought serve me? If I'm going into a situation, again, let's just go back to business. If I'm going to a situation where I'm afraid to walk or go into the office, or I got to sit down and I got to go through a list of phone calls, right? And I'm thinking, oh, this is such a waste of time. Well, how does that thought actually serve me?
Negatively.
Of course it does. And so once I think of that, and I love this too, there's another aspect that you can do with ants. What's the worst possible outcome? And this is where we get into this ground of fact versus story. So let's just say that you've been afraid of prospecting and you've finally set yourself aside 2 hour. You've made yourself do it. You've taken action. You're sitting there and you're just letting yourself have, this is going to suck and everybody's going to be mean. And you know what? Maybe you're an hour into it and they all are. And you're like, see, I knew it. Okay. Automated negative thought. How is that serving you? Well, it's making me feel better about the fact that I hate all this. All right, whatever. But the better question is, what is the worst outcome that could come out of this? Like, let's get silly. What is the worst thing that happens to you? Fact versus story. If you were to actually sit down and prospect for 2 hours.
So the worst thing, fact,
would
be I don't have the answers to questions.
Yeah, but that wouldn't be a fact. What's the worst thing that would happen during that time?
I'm confused.
I know you. All right, cool. I love this.
So worst
case scenario.
Okay, worst case scenario.
You spent
Someone
2 hours.
asked me a question,
Yeah.
and I don't know. They're asking multiple questions now.
Yeah.
I'd say it's just a topic of real estate that I haven't really ventured into
Yeah.
much. That is worst case scenario, I would sometimes say, for me personally. But then you stop. How would I move from that?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to speak with my broker, or I'm going to, and I'm going to give you a call back.
So that's all story. I know it doesn't seem like that, but let me break it down like this.
I feel like that's happened to me, though.
A fact is just black and white facts. The fact is, when you call, you got to break it down really, really simple. I called them. I said something. They said something. Result happened. I hung up. That is fact. It gets so basic boned like that.
Yeah.
So for 2 hours, the fact is I picked up a phone. everything that you said, everything that they said, everything that you just said was a feeling, by the way. I feel like I wouldn't have the answers. Feelings aren't facts. Fact is, it's really simple. I went wah, wah, wah. They went wah, wah, wah. And then we hung up. That's it.
There's just an exchange of words.
It's
is what
exchange
you're
of
saying.
words, sounds through which sentences are made.
Through which we are trying to pull business from.
Maybe.
Too, though. So that's why, like, say, you do come across, I'm sure agents in real life maybe think that too.
Yeah.
What if they have an investment question?
What if they do? It doesn't, again, wah, 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 wah. That's all objection handling.
Yeah, exactly.
So when it
So,
comes,
like, if you're completely scared, okay, if that's the one thing that you're scared might stump you,
Yeah.
whatever, have a plan.
yeah.
What will I do if I get, if this topic comes up, or if there's anything that I just simply don't have the answer to? And that happens in everyday real life anyway. So, but yeah, I get what you're saying too. I
Close.
guess-
You're almost there.
But I feel like the conversation matters, of course. That's the main goal of making these phone
Could
calls.
be. It depends. So again, that's all story. Some people, agents that I've sat with, they're so afraid of the phone that the only point, because the point is whatever you set the point for. Like we get this. This is going really deep. We get this idea in our head that I'm not winning unless X happens. But who's in control of your thoughts? Don't remember. It's fact versus story, right? Who's in control of that thought? You are. I've had to work with agents that were so afraid of the phone that I let them hang up for the first 15 minutes if somebody said hello. Now, what was there, because everybody wants to do it. When we're first dialing and you don't know what to say and you got all these fears inside of you, it withholds you. Okay, so I had an agent that was so scared that I had to start her with that. Okay, so for the first 15 minutes, we're going to if your only goal is to literally freak out. And she did it. Now she did it for like 6 minutes and she goes, I think I can say something back. Great. Now we'll build on that. So the goal is whatever you want to make it. It doesn't even have to be conversation.
Yeah.
If you're so afraid of picking up a phone to prospect that it helps you
Yeah.
to spend 15 minutes hanging up on people. And we've all had those calls too, by the way. You ever had that call where you're like, hello, hello, and then there's just a click? That was because there was some nervous person on the other end that didn't know how to answer the phone.
Yeah.
And they might have had me sitting behind them saying, all right, that's one of your 15. Now let's move
That's
on.
funny because I actually think about that sometimes.
What? Who's on the other end?
I'm like, I feel like they're nervous
Yeah.
to like talk to me right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always like done the hello, and I've been like, if you're nervous, it's okay. Then I get hung up on really fast, and I'm like, oh, I guess it is kind of creepy. But going back to fact or story, if you really look at the fact, if you spent 2 hours on the phone, realistically, the worst possible scenario, depending on what your outcome goal is you said things, they said things, and then you wasted 2 hours of your time.
Yeah.
Nobody, if you take it to the extreme, unless you're doing something really horrible, and even then, people do,
Or
you're not
maybe-
going to jail.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to come and, harm
And there's
you.
different levels. Like if you're just now starting calling
Yeah.
and it's scaring you, but if say you've been doing it and you've done it before and you're nervous, but it's not the beginner nerves. It's
Yeah.
getting back into it nerves.
Yeah.
Like, so there's all different phases too, based off experience, probably.
No, yeah. Well, again, it's any time. So it goes again. The thing that and it's hard. And when I went through the coaching process with this, once I got it, it blew my mind, because realistically, everything else, when you realize how much we live in story, is crazy. Like when you break it down to black and white fact, and you remove every emotion and everything outside of that, it actually then empowers you, even when it comes to your objection handling, right? So let's just say that you're really scared of, we'll go with that. I'm scared that they're going to ask me something that I don't know. Okay, let's use that as an example. What is the worst thing that could happen if you call somebody and you don't know the answer to something? What's the worst thing that could happen to you?
They hang up.
See how you laughed?
Yeah.
See how you giggled? why are we so afraid?
Exactly. I
The
agree.
worst thing that could happen to you is that they could hang up.
You'll never talk to them again.
You might never talk to them again.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Maybe you'll call them again on accident.
You'll probably call them
And then-
next because you accidentally redialed, which happens.
I've done that.
all the time.
I called the same person like 5 times on accident. It was on a dialer system. She was like, "Are you kidding me? Did you just call me again?" And I just yelled at you, and then I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I don't know what's going on." And then I call her again after that, and she just screamed at me.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh no." She was like, "You again?" Like, I got to a point where she wasn't even yelling. She was just
Yeah.
like, "Are you serious?"
Yeah, yeah.
She was very grumpy. Anyway, yeah.
But see, that's I love that. That's great. By
It
the
was
5th,
crazy.
you guys are friends. You know what I mean?
I think I went to you and I was like, no, at that point we became more friendly because
Yeah. Because you were freaking out.
I was freaking out. I was like, look, I really don't understand why this keeps happening. She was almost laughing at me at this point.
Right,
And I
right.
remember I had to go find you. And at this point, like, I get calls again. All I hear is, "Hi, Summer." I'm like, oh, she remembers me.
Of course
She
you did.
remembers
You
my
told-
name. I just called her 5 times.
In
Like,
a row.
"Hi, this is Summer."
Yeah, that's so funny.
Anyway, I'm pretty sure I ended up going to you, and I was like, "Johnny, help.
Yeah.
You need to, like, put her on canceled or something."
Excuse me, ma'am. Could you please not answer your phone for the next 30 minutes?
Yeah.
It's going to be me.
It's going to be me redialing and dialing. And
Over and over again. That again, that is all. And now, but look how that came out, right? So at the end of the day, when you have thoughts, you're in control of those thoughts, and you're in control of how long you think them. If you want to do something, and I think one of the best things that you can do is journal this stuff down. Make a mental note. Make a tick mark, right? Hey, I need to do this today. What's something you need to do today? We'll do this in real life. What do you got going on today?
Man, I got to get to the office and call clients.
Look at you. You got to call clients. Are you dreading
It's
this?
the first thing I got to do. No, I'm just
All right. Well, what should you be doing that you dread?
that I don't like.
Yeah. What don't you like that you should be doing?
Making calls.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
was gonna say we just talked about this. Making calls.
Yeah. Are you still now in your new office? Do you have to prospect for new business out there?
Yeah, we prospect.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. And so, like, when you go to do that and you sit down, and now you're going to remember this episode, and you're going to be like, "Oh, I hate this," right? Now it goes into black and white. Do you really hate this? Like, can you really hate a thing that you're doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. But what's the worst that's going to happen?
Yeah.
And then take control of the thoughts. Wow, I'm going to feel stupid because they're going to ask something, or I feel like I'm bothering people.
Yeah. And you know what else actually?
What's up?
Like what I'll think about sometimes
Yeah.
is how gratified I am when I finish it.
Yeah?
I did it.
Yay.
It wasn't so bad.
No, and it adds a positive check to your
And
bank.
You feel positive about it.
Yeah.
You don't feel any negative, thoughts towards it. If I don't do it, then I'm like, oh my God, I didn't
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
Like I don't like feeling that way. So I'm
Listen,
gonna do what makes me happy.
Well, that's what we all want to do, but that's where discipline comes in. Last week, our office ran a call competition for the most people talked to, and I showed up a little bit late, so I got a late start. And my list was small anyway because of the amount of people that were on it, but I made sure that I was talking to people. And at first, I was a little bit slow because I didn't. The rules were you had to use their script, and you know me, I'm a script guy. Their script, things were spelled wrong on it. No offense. The wording wasn't how I would word it, but I just wanted to prove that if you just follow the simplest script that anybody could type out, it would work. So I read it word for word, and I hated it. And then all of a sudden, what happened is that action conquers. It wasn't necessarily fear. It just wasn't. It wasn't me, and it's uncomfortable because it's not me, right? And so I wasn't afraid of what people thought or this or the other thing. I just didn't like doing it. There's some things that we just don't like doing. All of a sudden, I was the last person to leave. I had to get kicked out of the office. Now, what really pisses me off is I made third. I actually got an award check in this backpack right over here from it. I wasn't even running for the check anymore at that point in time. I was running for the #1 spot because I knew I could hit it. If I had enough time and I could go way past 8 And if I would have been kicked out of the office because everybody else had left, I would have won. I would have stayed there until I won.
Yeah.
Because here's something else that's really cool, and maybe we'll go into this next time, and I'll end with this, is action actually ends up creating more action. So if you're afraid to do something and then you get into action, I had a old mentor of mine used to call this head, heart, hunger. What will end up happening is that action, you'll start to get some results from it. That results will then create motivation to continue doing the action that gets you more results, that gets you more motivated, and all of a sudden you're in this cycle of motivation, all because you started.
Yeah.
But if you don't start, the cycle never starts. And sometimes, and I'm just talking to myself here, because guess what I did the next day? I was so jacked that night that I was like, dude, this is the best. Like, why don't I do this every single day? I'm like, Chad, I'm going to be in tomorrow. And then I showed up Tuesday. I forgot that I had things going on.
Yeah.
I let stuff get in the way. Well, how do you handle that? Let's chat about that next week. How do you handle because this is something we all deal with too. When you know that you got to do something, you know that you want to do something, but we're so unorganized we forgot, I got a funeral to attend tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or court, or something else crazy is happening in my life. How do you then not only make time for all that stuff, but how do you get yourself organized if you're unorganized and you can't keep yourself together? Let's talk about that next week. What do you think?
I like it.
But for today, it's time for us to...
Pull the sign, hit the lights, shut the door, any order you want to do those things.
Yeah, it is time for us to close the house down. Pull out the cookies! And
The door's open.
we'll talk
So
to you
come
next
on
week
in.
when we open the door.
Sound check done. Let's begin. Breaking news. The guest is you. Streaming